There is a flower that used to grow in almost every American garden. Your grandmother had it. Her mother had it before her. And somewhere along the way, it disappeared. Not from the earth, from us. Welcome back to What Your Garden Knows. If you're new here, hit subscribe, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see your garden forever. Walk through any American neighborhood built before 1970. Look at the old photographs of those houses. The gardens in those images look different from the gardens of today. Fuller, wilder, more alive somehow. Hollyhocks reaching past the porch roof. Bleeding hearts hanging in the shade. 4 o'clocks opening every evening like clockwork. Moonflowers climbing the fence. These were not rare plants. They were everywhere. Every grandmother had them. Every front yard, every back fence, every corner of every lot that had a little sun and a little neglect. And then, quietly, over the course of 2 or 3 generations, they began to disappear from American gardens. Not because they stopped growing, because we stopped planting them. Here is what happened. Beginning in the 1970s and accelerating through the 1980s and 1990s, the American garden began to change. Garden centers shifted toward what sold quickly, bloomed immediately, and looked impressive on the shelf. Hybrid varieties engineered for larger blooms, brighter colors, longer shelf life. But something was lost in that engineering. Many of the old varieties, the ones your grandmother grew, were open-pollinated. Their seeds could be saved, replanted, passed from neighbor to neighbor over a garden fence. They did not need to be purchased again every spring. They came back, year after year, decade after decade, sometimes for 50 years in the same spot without anyone doing anything at all. The hollyhock that grew beside your grandmother's back door may have been growing in that same soil since before she was born, passed down not through inheritance, but through seed, through a neighbor who knocked on the door one afternoon with a small paper envelope, through a cutting wrapped in a damp cloth and carried across 3 states in the back of a moving truck. These plants traveled with families. They were part of what home meant. But here is the part that stops most people. Many of these flowers are not actually gone. They are waiting. In the back corners of old seed catalogs, in the gardens of people in their 80s who never stopped planting them, in small family seed libraries run by volunteers in rural communities, in the soil itself, because some of these seeds can remain viable for decades, waiting for conditions that never quite arrive. There are gardeners right now across America and Canada who are finding hollyhock seedlings coming up in gardens that have not been planted in 30 years. The seed was always there, sleeping, waiting for someone to stop mowing that corner of the yard. So what were these flowers, and how do you bring them back? Hollyhocks, tall, dramatic, almost architectural. They once lined every alley and back fence in America. They grow in poor soil, need almost no water once established, and self-seed so reliably that once you plant them, you may never need to plant them again. Bleeding heart, the plant that blooms in deep shade where nothing else will grow. Your grandmother probably had one beside the north side of the house. It dies back completely in summer and returns every single spring without fail. 4 o'clocks. They open in late afternoon, exactly when the heat of the day begins to break, and they close again by morning. They bloom in colors that don't exist in modern hybrid gardens. Magenta striped with yellow, deep crimson edged with white. Moonflowers. They bloom only at night, white and luminous, opening as the sun goes down and filling the evening air with a fragrance that carries across an entire yard. Your grandmother may have sat on the porch in the evening specifically to watch them open. All of these are available still, from small seed companies, from heritage seed libraries, from neighbors who never stopped growing them. They cost almost nothing. They ask almost nothing. And they bring back something that modern gardens, for all their engineered beauty, have quietly lost. Your grandmother did not have a perfect garden. She had a living one, full of plants that came back without being asked, that spread into the neighbor's yard, that bloomed without anyone remembering to water them, that smelled like something you cannot quite name, but recognize the moment it reaches you. That smell is still available to you. Those plants are still out there, and your garden still has room for them. It has been waiting, perhaps, for exactly this. Tell me in the comments, is there a flower from your grandmother's garden that you still think about? A plant you haven't seen in decades but can still picture perfectly? I read every single one. And our little friend was with you in every frame today. Did you spot her watching from the garden? I'll see you in the next one.